Bonjour, everybody. I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Now, if you can tell by the Special World logo earlier, then you probably know what film I'm blogging today. But before we get started, let's talk about the novelist behind today's feature, Victor Hugo. Now, for those who don't know, Victor was a French poet, novelist, and dramatist of the Romantic movement. He's considered as one of the greatest and best-known French writers ever. But for those who are into musical theater, like myself, one of his best-known works is Les Miserables from 1862, which became an emotional stage hit in 1980 and a movie musical masterpiece in many years later. However, the first story that I heard about that came from Monsieur Hugo's library was about a mysterious bell ringer who lives in the towers of Notre Dame, and the company responsible for bringing this story to life on screen would be none other than my heroes at Walt Disney Animation Studios. So, with that said, let's begin. Released on June 21st, 1996, the movie is The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now let's get started, mon amis. In 15th century Paris, Clopin, the gypsy leader and puppeteer, tells the story of Quasimodo, the misshapen but gentle-souled bell ringer of Notre Dame, who was nearly killed as a baby by Judge Claude Frollo, the minister of justice. But Frollo was forced by the archdeacon of Notre Dame to raise Quasimodo as his own. Now a young man, Quasi is hidden from the world by Frollo in the bell tower of the cathedral. But during the Festival of Fools, Quasimodo, cheered on by his gargoyle friends, Victor, Hugo, and Laverne, decides to take part in the festivities, where he meets the lovely gypsy girl Esmerelda and the handsome soldier Captain Phoebus. The three of them find themselves ranged against Frollo's cruelty and his attempts to destroy the home of the gypsies, known as the Court of Miracles, and Quasimodo must desperately defend both Esmeralda and the very cathedral of Notre Dame. So, what are my thoughts? Well, while Aladdin is my all-time favorite Disney film, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, in my opinion, is the greatest film to ever come from my childhood in the Disney Renaissance. So, in order to explain more info, let's move on to Mustang notes. The idea to adapt The Hunchback of Notre Dame came from development executive David Stainton in 1993, who was inspired to turn Victor Hugo's novel into an animated feature after reading the classic illustrated comic book adaptation. Stainton then proposed the idea to then studio chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg. Following Beauty and the Beast, Gary Trousdale had taken the opportunity to take a break from directing, instead spending several months developing storyboards for The Lion King. Following this, Trousdale and Kirk Wise subsequently attempted developing an animated feature based on the Greek myth of Orpheus, titled A Song of the Sea, adapting it to make the central character a humpback whale and setting it in the open ocean. The concept, ostentatiously refused to pull together, but while they were working on the project, they were summoned to meet with Katzenberg. According to Wise, they believed that it had a great deal of potential, great memorable characters, a really terrific setting, the potential for fantastic visuals, and a lot of emotion. Production on The Hunchback of Notre Dame went underway in the summer of 1993. In October 1993, directors Gary Trousdale and Kirk Wise, along with art director David Goetz, Roy Conley, Ed Gertner, Will Finn, Alan Menken, and Stephen Schwartz, took a trip to Paris, France for 10 days. 3 days were devoted to exploring Notre Dame, including a private tour of the rarely glimpsed sights as actual passageways, stairways, towers, and a hidden room in which Hugo said his actions. Also included were visits to the Palace of Justice and an original location of the Court of Miracles. What's more, this film is considered to be one of Disney's darkest animated films since The Black Cauldron, as its narrative explores such mature themes as, well, infanticide, lust, damnation, genocide, and of course, sin. Now, as for the animation, well, like the other animated Disney films during the 90s, the animation for Hunchback is absolutely spot on. The animators did wonderful in drawing out 15th century Paris, including the Notre Dame Cathedral. To me, it looks beautiful. Plus, it gives me more of an incentive to go to Paris someday in my future. As for the story, well, to be honest, I haven't really read the original book yet, but I have heard that it does have a tragic ending. But the story for this film, it really tugs at my heart, and sometimes gives me goosebumps on how powerful it is. However, there are some scenes that I like. For example, there is the Festival of Fools, which I find is really fun, with jugglers, music, and dancing, up until the part where Frollo's guards and the townspeople throw food at Quasi. They even tie him to the stage. That was really mean-spirited. Anyway, I also like the part where Esmerelda, with help from her festival friends, fight off against Frollo's guards before she makes her getaway. And, of course, I like the part where Quasi and Phoebus team up together to find the Court of Miracles, which is hidden underneath the cemetery. Plus, the ending climax is both epic and intense. Oh, and speaking of intense, the part where Frollo burns down the mill while hunting for Esmerelda is really intense. The songs for this film were written by the legendary Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz, who had previously collaborated on Pocahontas, which I already blogged back in November 2015. And of course, this was long before Wicked, as Mr. Menken said during his concert that I witnessed during September 2016. And in my opinion, the songs for this film are absolutely magnificent. Plus, they're also haunting, powerful, emotional, and very heartwarming. For example, the opening prologue song, The Bells of Notre Dame, is very mysterious. Plus, it makes a sad backstory for what happened to Quasimodo's parents, courtesy of Frollo. Next we have God Help the Outcasts, sung by Esmerelda while she's trapped in Notre Dame. In my opinion, it's a very beautiful song. It's the kind of song you'd sing while praying to God. Plus, it's very reminiscent to songs like Do You Hear the People Sing from Les Mis and Don't Cry for Me Argentina from Evita. Next we come to Frollo's villain song, Hellfire. And to me, this song is the most terrifying song to come from any Disney villain. Not just with the fiery atmospheres, but with red hooded figures, as well as Frollo going into devilish lust. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, animation, and songs, let's move on to the characters and the voice actors who brought them to life. Our main character, Quasimodo, is voiced by Tom Hulse. Now, Quasi is the Notre Dame Cathedral's 20-year-old hunchback bell ringer who dreams of seeing life outside the bell tower. When I first saw this movie in theaters when I was 5 years old, I could easily relate to Quasi, and nowadays, he remains a lovable Disney hero for his kindness. Plus, I'm surprised that he's been cooped up in a tower longer than Rapunzel from Tangled. I also like the miniature model of Paris that he made from wood. What's more, Quasi has two wonderful songs, such as Out There and Heaven's Light. One of my favorite scenes that Quasi is involved with is where he helps Esmerelda and Jolly escape Notre Dame. Next we have Esmerelda, voiced by Demi Moore. Esmerelda is a beautiful, mysterious, and streetwise dancing gypsy girl who befriends Quasimodo and shows him that his soul is truly beautiful, even if his exterior isn't. She even has a goat sidekick named Jolly. Highly independent and strong-minded, she abhors Frollo's treatment of Paris's gypsies and other outcasts, and she seeks justice for them throughout the movie. My favorite thing that she does in this movie, other than her dancing, is when she and Jolly disguise themselves as an old beggar, and when she slingshots a rock at Frollo's horse and rescues Phoebus from death. Next up is the heroic Captain Phoebus, voiced by Kevin Kline. Known for acting in The Tale of Despereaux, the 1999 Midsummer Night's Dream movie, and this March, he'll be acting as Maurice in the live-action Beauty and the Beast remake. Now, Phoebus is a noble soldier and Frollo's captain of the guard. He does not approve of Frollo's methods and saves people whenever they are in danger, including the Miller's family and his love interest Esmerelda. Next we come to Quasimodo's gargoyle friends, Victor, Hugo, and Laverne. Voiced by Charles Kimbrough, Jason Alexander, and Mary Wicks. Sadly, this would be Wicks' final acting performance. She died at the age of 85, a year before the film's theatrical release. Anyway, these guys are my favorite characters in the film. Victor is a Renaissance man, speaking in a deep British tone, and is often the voice of reason or caution. Hugo is obnoxious and flamboyant, and of course, Laverne is the wise grandmother figure. She sometimes gets annoyed with pigeons, but later, she does use them to attack Frollo's guards, Wizard of Oz styled. Also, their song, A Guy Like You, while inappropriate for the situation that was happening, was pretty fun and corny. We also have Clopin, the gypsy leader, voiced by Paul Kendall, whom 2 years later voiced in Buster and Chauncey's Silent Night. Now, while Clopin doesn't have a big part in this film, he does act as the narrator for the story. Plus, he can be pretty zany while singing Topsy-Turvy during the Festival of Fools, and eccentric while singing the Court of Miracles song when he and the other gypsies catch Quasimodo and Phoebus in the catacombs. Finally, we have Judge Claude Frollo, the villain of the movie, voiced by the late Tony Jay, who has voiced in Beauty and the Beast, The Jungle Book 2, Recess School's Out, An American Tail 3, Mighty Max, including Tom and Jerry the movie, and of course voiced the Magic Mirror in Fantasmic and the House of Mouse. Now, Frollo is a ruthless, self-righteous, and religious judge who is Quasimodo's reluctant guardian. he forbids Quasi from ever leaving the bell tower in order to keep folks from seeing his deformed mug. Not only that, but he has an intense hatred of the gypsy population and seeks to annihilate the entire race. In comparison to Victor Hugo's novel, he also displays a sadistic and lustful obsession with Esmerelda. Frollo generally believes that all he does is in God's will, despite frequent disagreements with the cathedral's archdeacon. And now it's time to move on to my final words. Overall, The Hunchback of Notre Dame is a remarkable masterpiece to come from the Disney Renaissance. Some parts of the film are very mature and thought-provoking, but the animation is very beautiful, as well as it being dark at times. The characters are wonderful, as well as the voice acting, and the songs are some of the best that I've ever heard. Thank you, Alan Menken, and thank you, Stephen Schwartz, for making these songs possible. So, it is an absolute honor that I give this film a full 100%. Well, that's it for today, everybody. But I'm not done yet. Join me next time where I take a look at Quasimodo's underappreciated sequel that me and several others enjoy. So until then, to be continued.